Nina, tell me about Albus Dumbledore.
Okay, so basically, Albus Dumbledore is Harry Potter's answer to Gandalf, but way, way worse. His personality in the movies is pretty inconsistent, because with 5 separate directors working on an 11-part film series using 3 different actors, everybody seems to have their own very distinct idea of how the character should be. So you've got tons of Dumbledores. Tight young Dumbledore, Grandpa Dumbledore, Stoner Dumbledore, Manic Pixie Dream Dumbledore, Sneaky Secretive Dumbledore, Nancy Drew Dumbledore, Dead Dumbledore. It's wild.
Tell me about tight young Dumbledore, like the one from the new movies.
All right, our story begins 50 years later.
What?
With a Dumbledore who's the wizened old headmaster of Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry.
So what does that mean?
He's the principal. He's the magic principal of the school.
Ah, like Mr. Belding, only, of course, not as cool.
There's nobody as cool as Dennis Haskins. Do not hold sorcerers with godlike powers to that standard.
My whoops. Okay, so what's his day-to-day like?
Arbitrarily rewarding a quarter of the school students through a made-up point system while whimsically punishing the other 75%. Hanging out with an immortal bird. Sucking out people's memories and keeping them in a big, shiny bowl. Putting children in mortal danger. Waiting until he's dead to explain himself. And probably some paperwork at some point, I don't know.
Sure.
So in the first movie, Dumbledore rescues orphan baby Harry from the wreckage of his family's home, and rather than give him any sort of normal life, he leaves this orphaned baby with his aunt and uncle who emotionally batter him for 10 years. Luckily, Harry never resents Dumbledore for leaving him with people who literally imprisoned him in a closet under the stairs for a decade. And when he gets to Hogwarts at age 11, he's basically Wizard Daddy's bestest boy.
Okay.
Dumbledore is super helpful to Harry and even gives him a unique cloak of invisibility because he's not playing favorites at all. But he also doesn't tell him that Hogwarts is currently playing host to the Sorcerer's Stone, one of the rarest items in the magical world. For some reason, Dumbledore hid the stone behind a bunch of Mario Party minigames that 11-year-old wizards could complete without very much trouble at all, instead of a ton of complex spells they wouldn't even know yet.
It could have just made it a math problem. It's not like they teach that at Hogwarts.
Then you've got Chamber of Secrets, where Dumbledore, who knows literally everything about Hogwarts, turns a blind eye when a giant racist snake living in the toilet starts trying to kill little kids.
Yeah, why do parents send their children to the school again?
So they can turn teacups into mice!
Wouldn't it be, significantly more helpful to do it the other way around?
Anyway, Dumbledore just kind of lets a racially motivated dragon roam around the school and hires a big bozo who sucks to teach the children how to defend themselves.
A big bozo?
The biggest! Ultimately, Harry saves the day because Dumbledore loves making preteens fix his f***ed up life.
I can relate.
New year, new Dumbledore. A convicted murderer escapes from a top-security wizard prison and appears to be gunning directly for Harry, for murder reasons. The guy is also Harry's godfather, a fact that nobody, including Dumbledore, bothers to tell him.
Why?
Because. Anyway, after Dumbledore lets these crazy kids get into several more scrapes, he does what any responsible adult would do. He gives Harry and Hermione a literal time machine and makes them free the murderer, who's actually innocent.
Okay, why doesn't he do it himself? Isn't he the adult in this situation?
Fourth movie! Dumbledore presides over an extracurricular activity where children face down literal dragons, potentially drown themselves, and navigate a maze full of deadly creatures. Ultimately, a kid dies, finally satisfying Dumbledore's thirst for child blood, and then everyone comes back to school the following year.
Okay, wait, a kid dies, and everyone is just fine with that?
It's private school, that's just how things work. In the 5th movie, Dumbledore, under immense pressure from the government, hires a violent sociopath, Dolores Umbridge, to mold the young minds over at Hogwarts. You'll note this is not the first time he's left kids alone with someone like this.
Well, I mean, how else are violent sociopaths supposed to get jobs with kids if we don't start working at schools?
Anyway, Umbridge runs afoul of a herd of centaurs after Dumbledore just f***s off from Hogwarts entirely, and nobody ever talks about what happened to her, but I'm sure it's fine.
Probably.
Anyway, in the 6th movie, haggard, decrepit, and somehow very much in charge of a building full of 11-year-olds, Dumbledore dies.
About time. All right.
So first he drags Harry on a purposely vague scavenger hunt that seems like an excuse for a ton of exposition since Dumbledore clearly knows all the stuff Harry's learning anyway. Beyond that, Dumbledore earns his world's greatest boss mug by ordering one of his longest-running employees to murder him in apparent cold blood in front of a ton of witnesses and, yes, a child.
Yeah, that seems right.
Dumbledore shouldn't even really be in the last movie because of, how dead he is. Don't worry though, he shows up anyways and know-it-all ghost who congratulates Harry on solving the myriad of mysteries he left behind.
Why did he leave behind so many mysteries?
To keep you busy in the video game adaptation.
Okay, but wait a second. What about Fantastic Beasts era Dumbledore, the tight, young one?
Oh, well, in those movies, he's very, very concerned about the machinations of his maybe ex-boyfriend, an evil villain named Grimball Brimbleballs.
No, that can't be right.
Bringall Brandywalls.
No. Mm-mm.
Benedict Cumberbatch.
No, it's Gellert Grindelwald?
What'd I say?
Anyway,
even though he's mentioned in the first Fantastic Beasts movie, Dumbledore doesn't actually show up until the second one, and then when he does, he has a huge impact.
Oh, what's he do?
He looks great in a waistcoat.
Is that it?
Well, he also hires a weird antisocial zoologist with a briefcase full of animals to track down Grundleding Grimbyface and stop him from doing a Nazi wizard rap.
Does it work?
It does not.
But wait, isn't Dumbledore like one of the most powerful and important wizards in the whole magical world?
Yeah-huh.
So why doesn't he just do it himself?
To answer that question, let's go 50 years into the future when Dumbledore is the wizened old headmaster of Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry.
Hey guys, my name's Tom, and I'm from OK So Basically. We did a video that you just watched, and there's other video that you can also watch. And if you like other videos, like even more than the ones I just mentioned, like and subscribe.